Good morning. It's a few minutes before 9, and we are finally just about ready to get underway. It is a beautiful morning, literally not a cloud in the sky, and there is a light breeze coming out of the northwest, which is consistent with the forecast. The weather forecast has shifted for the days going forward. I mean, it was day after day or today of a forecast of 5 knots, which means either a little wind or no wind, like yesterday. But now it's 5 to 10 most days, and actually tomorrow it's 5 to 10 with gusts to 20. So all indications are we should get a nice fresh breeze this morning. Today, it does say 5 to 10 in the NOAA forecast. Another wind forecasting it shows it dropping off in the afternoon. We'll see what happens. There's enough wind to get underway now, and since it's not blowing me into a harbor, I don't think we'll even start the outboard to get going. So we're the winds, as I mentioned, I think are supposed to be out of the north, so we're going to continue going south, or perhaps southwest, into Muscongus Bay, which we hardly ever get into because it's in the wrong direction. But that's where we're going today, so we're off to a bit of an adventure. It's about 9:30 now, and we are still in Dix Island Harbor. Apparently, one of the ways to make a slight breeze stop is to put up your sails. So we just spent a little over half an hour. We were making about 0.2 to 0.4 knots. But I decided to wait. The autopilot was able to more or less steer a course. And now the breeze has picked up, and we're doing almost 2 knots, zooming right along. But it's a big improvement, and we'll be able to get out of Dix Island Harbor eventually. Not that this isn't pleasant. Well, we'll see what happens. It's a little after 11 now, and once again, the wind has quit on us. So we did manage to get a little bit of very slow sailing in through the Muscle Ridge Islands, which was nice. But yeah, we're making the transition over to Muscongus Bay, and the wind diminished gradually, and the current was against us, and then there was none at all. So that's where we are, unfortunately. So we're motoring, as I'm sure you can hear, but at least it's still a pleasant day. It's about 12:30 now, and we have some wind. A bit surprisingly, it's out of the southwest. Just surprising based on the forecast, not surprising based on the fact that 90% of the time around here the wind comes from the southwest. But well, we'll take it, even though we're trying to kind of go southwest. I don't know how this is going to work out. We're going through some rather narrow channels, and I'm not sure that tacking, if necessary, will work out. But we're good for now. It's about 10 minutes of 2, and we are approaching what I think will be our anchorage. Can't be 100% sure because haven't been here before. But a little while ago, the wind died again at an inconvenient time, and so we started the outboard in a bit of a panic. And now it's come back strongly, but it's back out of the north. So it just could have done this all day and I would have been happy, but no. Anyway, we'll see what the anchorage looks like. So we anchored here in Muscongus Bay at about 3 o'clock. And one of the anchorages that I had picked out on the chart as looking like it had possibilities, and it's okay. It's not going to be one of my all-time favorites, but it will certainly serve the purpose. So we can take a look around the anchorage. So we can start off looking east. Somewhere over there, we can't quite see from here, is the town of Port Clyde, which is a fairly significant town. You know, it's not like Rockland or anything, but it's there. And if we swing to the south, there's an island called Teal Island, T-E-E-L. Which is appears to be quite heavily settled. There's several houses on them, one of them quite large. That's kind of on the other side, but there's a couple here on this side. There's a big dock, actually, like there's 2 big docks, quite a few moorings. So maybe it's some kind of family compound or something. Not sure. Not a lot of activity at the moment. Of course, it is after Labor Day. So behind me, this is kind of southwest. There's a couple of low islands. The closest, largest one would be called Stone Island. But there's others beyond that. They all kind of blend in together. Little unnamed islands. There's Muscongus Bay, and there's various islands and such over that way. And this is Caldwell Island, which would be giving us protection from northern breezes, if there were northern breezes at the moment. That was the direction when we anchored, but they seem to have tapered way off, and now we seem to be kind of drifting at random. And this closest to us is Little Caldwell Island, imaginatively named. And then this one, which is over where we started, doesn't have a name on the chart. Maybe it's Little Caldwell Island. So I hope you can see that it continues to be a pleasant day. It is clouding up a little bit, and some of the clouds look a little dark, but there's nothing in the forecast to indicate there's anything to worry about. So it's the warm day of this week. It was in the 70s today. For most of the week, the forecast is to not quite hit 70. So it is September in Maine. So we have a few chores to finish up. Pull up the outboard and the rudder, and put up the pop top enclosure, and then we can get back to relaxing and catching up on the day's news. So looking at the chart, this group of islands somewhere was referred to on some chart as the Muscle Ridge Islands. And this is Muscle Ridge Channel, and it says so way up here, but I believe the whole area is Muscle Ridge Channel. Anyway, so we were up in here in Dix Island Harbor. There is Dix Island, and this little crescent by my finger is Birch Island, and we're anchored close to that. And there's High Island and Andrews and the Neck over there. So we sailed very slowly this morning out through Dix Island Harbor and down this way, and took a look at Hewitt Island and a couple of little islands. I think this one was Flag, I'm not sure, and this one is Grapham Island. So there's houses on a lot of these, and I could see through the gaps. This is Pleasant Island, and there's some houses on there. So anyway, we sailed most of that, but eventually the wind died out, and we had to start the outboard and sailed out into, I guess, the Atlantic Ocean here. And over here is Whitehead Island, and there's a prominent lighthouse on the headland there at Whitehead Island. And then we need a new page. So for reference again, here is Whitehead Island with a lighthouse on the head. And we came down southwest, motoring most of the way. Somewhere way down here, the wind finally came up, and we did put up the sails. And initially the wind, or at least I thought it was southwest, but it couldn't have been, because well, the best I could sail was about west, but then I found it shifted to southeast shortly after that. So anyway, we did manage to sail out and around. Well, we didn't go around the spread buoy, but we went by it off Mosquito Island. Wonder how it got that name. And then up through this channel, because this whole area is just littered with little rocks and islands and things. So this is an established channel through it, until about here where the wind died again inconveniently, and when I'm in this narrow channel. This is Port Clyde up here.
which has a few stores and things. And I think there's a ferry, just a person ferry out to Monhegan Island, I think it is, that leaves from Port Clyde. Anyway, we came around the south end of Hupper Island and then up in between Teal Island and Stone Island. And there's a couple of areas I had marked off as potential anchorage in here, mostly because there's shallow water. I mean, that's the big problem here. In Maine is, the water can get real deep right off land, so I like to anchor in, like 10 feet of water at low tide, not 30 feet of water at low tide. Anyway, the place I found to anchor was up here towards Caldwell Island and Little Caldwell Island and Little Caldwell Island, whatever that is. So that's where we are here in the eastern edge of Muscongus Bay, which is here and continues to the west. And this is the St. George River here. Just for reference. So plans for tomorrow are a little bit up in the air. The NOAA forecast teased me this morning by changing the forecast for tomorrow and the next few days to indicate there would be more wind. So instead of 5-knot winds, 5-knot winds day after day, tomorrow was, I think, 10 to 15 out of the north. But then this afternoon they backed off and gone back to the old, well, they're saying 5 to 10 now for tomorrow. My other source of wind prediction is it's built into the Aquamaps app that I use for navigation, and it's still saying 15 knots out of the north tomorrow. So well, if it is 15 knots, and maybe even if it isn't, the plan is to go someplace I've been meaning to go to for years, wanted to go to, but the things never seem to, the wind is never in the right direction, which is go to Muscongus Island, which is about 10 miles offshore from Vinalhaven Island. So it's out there. But it's about due east from here, so I could certainly get there with north winds. So that's what I think I'm going to do, and I may leave early in the morning as soon as I can see, probably, to try to accomplish that, because it's about 20 miles, which I've done 20 miles before, but when there's good wind. So there's no need to leave early if the wind is going to be good, but you don't know that ahead of time, do you? Anyway, so we'll see what actually happens, and I'm not sure if there's going to be a sunset tonight, but other than that, I think that'll do it for today.